Welcome to the Redefine Podcast. All right, happy Tuesday and happy podcast day to you. Welcome to the show if you're brand new. And of course, if you're an existing listener, welcome back. Thanks for tuning in. Whether you're listening to this on the podcast version or if you're watching the YouTube version, please make sure to go ahead and subscribe and or follow the show so you don't miss an episode. We do have a fresh new episode twice a week. And of course, we have our back catalog as well that you can check out if you're new to the show. What I would also really appreciate is if you left us a rating and a review and leave us comments in the comment section below, and also sharing the content. Of course, that would help me out a lot. It would help the show out a lot. But I think I try to deliver topics that are prescient, that are pertinent to everything that we're experiencing in this life, right? I through my own observations and my own experiences, I try to synthesize those things and have these discussions with you on the show to hopefully help you navigate this roller coaster of life. And so, by sharing these episodes, whether it's the video or the podcast version, we can potentially reach more people, and then of course potentially help more people as well. So that would be greatly appreciated. Now, for today's episode, we're going to continue the conversation of setting goals, right? Last week, I talked about having big dreams that push you beyond your boundaries, incredibly important. And this week, I want to kind of piggyback on that. It's important for sure to set those big goals and set those big dreams because of who you become and growing into that potential. One caveat of this, though, is there is a risk of being too fixated on the outcome, right? Being too fixated on that big, hairy, audacious goal, being too fixated on the horizon. I keep looking out here off camera because in front of me is the next mountain, so I can see the next ridge over that. I can't see over that horizon, but I'm fixated on that horizon right now, literally. But to be fixated on the next horizon, figuratively, in your goals it can pose some potential risks. And I want to reference a quote that you may or may not be familiar with. It's a pretty popular quote, and it goes like this. It says, 20 years from now, the only people who will remember you worked late are your children. It's a pretty sobering quote, and I like it because I think it's a good wake up from the grind, right? I think it really speaks to the grind and the level of, again, fixation on reaching goals and achievement and attainment of accolades and outcomes and all these things. All that stuff is great. Again, setting high goals and high standards and dreams that push you beyond your boundaries is incredibly important. However, you have to ask yourself, if you're finding yourself in this kind of grind and in this kind of hustle lifestyle, you have to ask yourself, at what cost, right? At what cost? It's okay to have big dreams and it's okay to work hard and have really high work ethic. But if it takes you away, if you're so fixated on the outcome that it takes you away from the here and now, then we start to have a real issue. We start to have a real issue. You become less present because you're so fixated on this far away goal, this far off outcome. You're fixated on something that's in the future, and technically it's not real, right? You're fixated on some other place, some other time that's not the here and now. And the reality is, here and now, the moment is all we have. Being present, being mindful is all we have. If you're and you don't even have to. This goes beyond being in the office too long, or being at your workplace, at your job, devoting more time to that. You can be home and still not be present because you're so fixated on the far off outcome. You're so fixated on the goal. You're so fixated on a future that doesn't yet exist. It takes you away from the here and now, and then you're not present anymore for your own life, and then what ends up happening is you're not present for the lives and in the lives of the people that are around you, your kids, your spouse, your loved ones, your family, whoever that might be, your pets. All right, your pets. I have dogs, and so dogs have a very relatively shorter lifespan than humans, and so to miss out on those things because I'm not present, because I'm so focused on future outcome, that it's really a travesty, because I only have limited amount of time with my dogs, right, with my pets. And so I really want to kind of jar you out of that, hopefully, and remind you that the here and now and the present is all we have. Yes, again, for sure, work and have good work ethic, and set far off goals, and create destinations that you want to attain, because that pushes you to grow into your potential, to grow into your limitless capability, or at least closer to those things, but not at the expense of missing out on the here and now. Because what will end up happening is you'll get to the end of your life, and you'll realize that you were never there, right? You were never there. I'm kind of reminded in my own experience, early in the success that I saw in my network marketing business, when I was traveling a lot, I was hustling, I was grinding, I was serving my team, I was I was massive organization, traveling all over the world and all over the country. And I was so fixated on grinding and creating more of the outcome, and growing my business, again focused not on the here and now necessarily, but focused on continuing to build bigger and bigger and bigger, and that I found myself realizing after years of doing that, man, what happened to those years? What like it went by so quickly, and I felt like no time has passed because I was never present. And I look back, like a decade later, I'm like, man, it feels like no time has passed, but really I've aged an entire decade. And people in my life have aged an entire decade. Some people have passed away. I mean, my dad passed away last year. Was I present those last 5-10 years of his life, or was I too fixated on that far off outcome and trying to manufacture, trying to attain it? Again, the attainment and the goal and the attainment of that goal are great, but they're secondary to the here and now. The here and now is really all about enjoying the process. It goes back to, growing into who you need to become, or growing into, or closer towards your potential, closer towards your limitless capability. I think that's where fulfillment and enjoyment lies. And whether or not, you're experiencing challenges or adversities, or things are going your way, you can find a great amount of fulfillment in the here and now. You'll never find fulfillment if you're only fixated on the thing that doesn't exist, if you're only fixated on that far off future outcome, right? Because the here and now is when that'll be. When you attain that thing, it'll be in the here and now. But if you're focused on that next peak or that next horizon, you won't even enjoy the thing that you just achieved. So being in the here and now is incredibly, incredibly important. Being in the present moment, being present in your own life and in the lives of the ones you love, enjoying that process of growth. I think that's where fulfillment lies. Yes, it does get kicked off and ignited by setting big, hairy, audacious goals and dreams that push you beyond your boundaries. But you do that once you set those goals, and once you have established those dreams for yourself, then bring yourself back into the moment and enjoy the process, and the fulfillment will come with the journey that you have to go through, because that's all you have. The destination is the destination. You'll get there, and that'll eventually be the moment. But, set that destination, choose that destination, and enjoy the journey. That's really the point. That's really the point. And then you won't miss out. You won't miss out on the lives of your children, the lives of your loved ones, and you won't miss out on your own life. So that's my message for today. Hopefully that makes sense. Leave me a comment in the comment section below, or leave me a rating and a review, and let me know what you think. Let me know what you think. And is this something that you've experienced, or is this something that you've seen, observed in someone else in your life that you maybe want to be more present with you as you're navigating your day to day. And this might be a good episode for that person to listen to. So that's it for today's episode. I appreciate you tuning in. Stuff to ponder for this week. So give it some thought, and of course we'll have a fresh new one on Thursday. So until then, be well, be safe. We'll see you in the next episode.